Mr. Transformers 96 here with another video, and I'm going to be doing another kind of top 5 dream figure type of video. This time it's going to be my top 5 figures that I would love to see Hasbro make for the studio series from the Bumblebee movie. So this is specifically Bumblebee movie. I've done this before just in general, and that was kind of fun to do, and surprisingly the studio series has actually shown quite a few of the figures that were in that list. So I'm very happy about that. I'm hoping that the same thing will happen this time, but this time I'm doing specifically from the Bumblebee movie. I really enjoyed the Bumblebee movie, just so you guys know. I really loved it. I've seen it 5 times now, and I'd probably consider it my favorite Transformers movie. Really enjoyed. Even just the human stuff is fantastic in it as well, in my opinion. But anyway, there's a lot of cool character designs that, even if they're only in it for a short period of time, were just amazing looking, and they're obviously from iconic characters. So I've definitely loved. I definitely wanted them to make figures of these characters, and unfortunately the only one that we kind of have that was a little surprising was Optimus Prime. He's the only kind of Cybertronian style design that Hasbro has shown, so I'm hoping that they do continue it and they do some other figures. However, at the moment we don't have too many. The only Bumblebee movie figures that have been shown are Bumblebee, Dropkick, Shatter, and Optimus. And there's quite a few of others that they could do, and I don't see why they're not doing them, because they seem like easy picks in my opinion, but yeah, we'll have to wait and see. Hopefully they will do some, but at the moment here's my top 5 countdown. Just so you know, the pictures on the bottom left aren't necessarily like the 5 from this list. Just so you know, I just wanted to give you a little look at some of the Cybertronian designs that I was talking about. So yeah, so let's get started. First of all, number 5, my 5th choice, I'm gonna put Cliffjumper. Cliffjumper is not an Autobot that I particularly love from the original show or from really any incarnation. Like, he's fine, I don't really mind him, but he's not like a huge character in my opinion, for me personally. However, he does have a nice scene in this movie. Not only do we see him fighting on Cybertron in, you know, very short glimpses, but we also see his demise on the rings of Saturn as Dropkick and Shatter interrogate him for the whereabouts of Optimus Prime. But he gets, you know, a nice, good shot of him. I like his face quite a bit. I think it's a cool design, and he also shares a very similar design to Bumblebee, which is accurate, of course. I think that his body and legs are identical to Bumblebee. He just has a different head, and when I say Bumblebee, I mean like Bumblebee's look on Cybertron. So this is kind of like a twofer type of thing, because they could easily do this figure, and all they would need to do is change out the head, and they could sell it as 2 figures. One is a Cybertron Bumblebee, and one is Cliffjumper, and I'd be really happy for that. I think that would be super cool. So I'd personally love to see this figure be made. I think that would be quite nice, and again, it offers more figures than just the one, so I do like that quite a bit. And speaking of that kind of ideology of kind of doing or getting the most out of each sculpt, my 4th choice is Starscream. However, it's not just Starscream, it's kind of the Seeker design. The Seeker design is very similar for a lot of the Seekers themselves. There's only some changes, some slight variations, and they kind of have the cone head type of look for some of the Seekers, as you can see here with what I assume to be Acid Storm on the left. But the Seekers are kind of used as the general Decepticon army in the movie. If you like really, you know, look at the film, basically your named Decepticons are the only ones that have unique designs, and then all the rest, the other just kind of army Decepticons, are all just Seekers. They're just kind of variations of Starscream you know, essentially with different color schemes. But overall, I think that's really cool, and personally, I would be down for buying just as many as they would make, and I'd probably do a few customs on my own too, because I just think that would be super cool. But yeah, really do like the Starscream look, and again, it would offer so many cool looking Decepticons, because I've never been a fan of just the general kind of drone Decepticons in any of the other movies. The KSI drones I was never really into, and then any of just the general robots that are nameless from Revenge of the Fallen or Dark of the Moon or anything like that, I've never been interested in, but this is the first time where I actually find them interesting. They're colorful, and they have unique, cool looks, and they have some basis for them in the original TV show. So overall, I really enjoy that, so I would definitely love to see that sculpt be made. Now my 3rd choice is going to have to be Soundwave. Obviously, Soundwave is a no-brainer. I would absolutely love this figure. I think that he just looks really cool in the movie. I will say, out of all of the the new designs for like the big name characters, Soundwave is probably my least favorite, but I still like him. He definitely has a cool look, and of course, I would imagine that when he gets to Earth, he'll look a little different as a cassette player. Although technically, he doesn't arrive till Earth until the Michael Bay movies, and then he kind of goes downhill. But anyway, I think the figure actually, or the character, really looks cool, and I do like the fact that he does eject Ravage, and that would be a nice accessory for him to come with. So this would be a great figure, and it seems like Soundwave is kind of leading the Decepticons on Cybertron, since Megatron isn't on Cybertron in the Bumblebee movie, since he's already crash landed on Earth quite a while ago. So I would like to see that. So it just makes him a bigger character basically. So I definitely like to see Soundwave as a figure. I think that would be awesome. My second choice is going to have to be Shockwave. Big fan of Shockwave, I always have been, and the look in his look in Bumblebee is probably the most I've ever liked Shockwave's look. I really liked his Dark of the Moon look, don't get me wrong. But I really love that. This is just the perfect mixture of the Dark of the Moon kind of bulkier Shockwave, as well as the original TV show where you have the smooth panels and the very classic looking head. It's the best of both worlds in my opinion. So I would absolutely love a Shockwave figure. That would be amazing. I've considered trying to put one together myself, but it's just like, without having any sort of figure that resembles him, it would be hard to just try to sculpt him on my own, but I would really love a Shockwave figure. I think that would be fantastic. He really looks cool. I love how massive his thighs are and how chunky his stomach or his torso is, and then the head sculpt is just really cool on top of it. So overall, he looks fantastic. I would absolutely love a Studio Series figure of him. And then my number 1 choice for a Studio figure is similar to my number 4 choice, but it's Blitzwing. Now I decided not to throw Blitzwing in with Starscream, just because Blitzwing is really his own character, and although his design is very similar to Starscream, if you do look at the two of them together, there are differences, not only in paint, but in the actual sculpt itself. There is some differences. For the most part, though, he's very much just kind of one of Starscream's clones, to some degree at least. However, this one, it's basically like Starscream, but without the Cybertronian jet that he transforms into. He actually transforms into an actual jet, like an Earthbound jet, and therefore some of his look is more, or his paneling is more formed to that Earth style rather than the Cybertronian style, so there are some slight differences. But overall, just as a character, I really enjoyed Blitzwing in the movie. He only has the one fight, but I would say that it's one of the best fights in a Transformers movie. It might be my favorite, just kind of hand-on-hand, like one-on-one fight from any of the Transformers movies, actually. It's really nice. It has a good back and forth to it, and it's completely free of any human interaction, which is something that's very unique for a Transformers movie, which is very cool as well. And then it does have like actual consequences for the main character too. So in general, I would probably say it's my favorite one-on-one Transformer fight. And I really enjoy the look of Blitzwing, just as I do Starscream. But Blitzwing, of course, gets to you get to see him more, and you get to see him use some weapons and things, and fully transform, which is just great. So overall, I really enjoyed Blitzwing in this movie. And Blitzwing is the one, like, out of all the people on this list, I would expect them to do Blitzwing the most. So I am holding out hope that we will get a Blitzwing figure. We're getting a Blitzwing statue from Prime Studio One, which looks really amazing. I'm really loving that, but it's just so expensive that I don't think I could afford that. But I would love the Studio Series Blitzwing. I think that would be great. So there you go. So that's my countdown for my list of the top 5 Bumblebee movie characters that I would love to see get made into a figure, specifically in the Studio Series line. There are others, because I really didn't, I'm a much bigger Decepticon fan, if you didn't notice from this list, but I really love Decepticons. I like Autobots, don't get me wrong, but as far as the Autobots, like, there's a ton of Autobots they could do, too. I mean, there's Wheeljack, there's Cup, there's RC, they do show Ratchet. Ratchet would be a cool one, actually. And then there's also, like, the Cybertronian version of Bumblebee. There's the Bumblebee when he first lands and he transforms into the Jeep. There's quite a few characters that they could do that they haven't done. There's also the non-flyable Decepticons. They could do Dropkick as well as Shatter in their without having any parts. Well, actually, they're technically doing that for Shatter. But they could do like a Shatter that transforms into a jet and has the jet proportions and the wings, and then they could do a Dropkick that transforms into a car that just has the car proportions and things. And the Dropkick one, apparently there's rumors that is happening, so we'll have to see. Personally, I'm working on my own custom Dropkick, and it's coming out quite nicely. I've done all the things on it. Like, I've put all the new pieces on it. All I need to do is paint it. So that is coming up. Hopefully I'll have it done. I'm going to try to have it done as soon as possible, and I'll definitely make some videos on that, because I am very excited for that, and I've put a decent amount of work into it. So yeah, so there you go. My number 1 choice, Blitzwing. Number 2, Shockwave. Number 3, Soundwave. Number 4, Starscream / The Seekers. Number 5, Cliffjumper / Cybertronian Bumblebee. And yeah, that makes up my list for my top 5 figures that I'd love to see them make from the Bumblebee movie in the studio series. So there you go. Let me know what you guys think of my choices. I'd also love to hear your guys' choices, and I really hope that some of these actually do come true and Hasbro does make them. So yeah, thanks so much for watching.